50 what? I'm 54, sir. You are disgraceful.
Oh yeah, I'm just picking my hair.
Are you a sensible human being?
And somebody dies tonight! We also one.
She's pregnant. Phone time! Phone time!
Look, y'all, growing up in an African household has to be on the list of the top 10 most difficult things to endure. It's up there with scaling Mount Everest, running David Goggins marathons without water, and breaking up with somebody on their birthday.
Bruh.
But imagine all of that combined. Look, if you've been on this channel for a while, you know I've been filming at home. But for this episode, hey, I had to make sure I was gone for this one. I had to make sure I was in school for this one now. First off, because my parents think YouTube is a portal for the evils of the world to be visualized in the most horrendous forms, which I actually agree with because some of these videos will make you think you are living in hell. And second off, they don't even know I have a YouTube channel.
Bruh.
Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, this is not Enos. This is an augmented science experiment that looks like Enos. Seriously, Mom and Dad, this video is all out of love, and I truly appreciate you for making me a much stronger person. Oh my goodness. So first off, before we analyze anything about our parents, we have to go into the family dynamics. When you really look at African families, there's the immediate family, which is divided up into two major parts. We have our parents and the children, which is us. Now, based on my analyses, African families only contain 2 to 5-ish children, rarely giving birth to just one child. And you know if the African family got one child, that kid a little bit different. But whenever you look back home, you got cousins upon cousins, and the numbers just start increasing exponentially, especially because of these traditionalist mindsets. Our grandpas got wives in the double digits. Like, grandpa, save some for me, please. And that itself brings up a whole bunch of step siblings, step aunties, step uncles, step cousins, step everything.
Bruh.
So at that point, the amount of people in your family start reaching the hundreds. Now, I may be exaggerating just a tiny bit, but when you really try to analyze these African families, it's not 2D. It's not 3D. Them Johns are 4-dimensional and more. I'm talking multi-dimensional family trees that are extremely difficult to understand. And it starts looking like some type of multiverse. And the crazy part is, they try to get us to call everyone auntie and uncle. Look, I understand it's all about expressing a value of respect. But Uncle Kyle
Bruh.
and Auntie Mary Ann are not my biological family members. Next, we have their expectations. Look, if you have African parents and they've never told you the phrase, you will become a doctor or a lawyer, I am convinced that you are not living with African parents, but instead an alien species that mutated themselves into looking like your parents. Because telling your children that is African parenting 101. I'm gonna be honest, the expectations that these African parents set up for us feel like they're all reading from the same exact instruction manual on how to raise your children. Number 1, have children. Number 2, if you are not in America, go to America. Number 3, send money to your relatives abroad. Number 4, tell your children they are not allowed to marry until they have a PhD or become a doctor. Number 5, send more money to your relatives abroad. Number 6, build a house. Nah, but seriously, the way our parents be sending money back home, I be thinking they be living better than us in America. And they always talking about building these houses. Like, bruh, sorry, a bit off track, but these African parents' expectations are crazy. I went to a boarding school, so to some extent, I feel like my expectations were set higher because I went to such a prestigious high school. So now I'm expected to go to college, get a high earning degree in medicine, law, engineering, or computer science. But I wouldn't put my hopes on computer science now because the way my Uber driving talking, the only science they doing behind the computer is behind the McDonald's registers. Then once you get these degrees, you at least have to get a master's.
Bruh.
So the amount of debt you accumulate will be in the hundreds of thousands. But it's okay because your African parents will be happy that you got your biology degree, knowing darn well they're not gonna pay none of that debt, leaving you to become a slave to the medical field for the rest of your life. And if you don't do what they tell you to do, the threat is always that they're gonna send you back to your home country. And I look, you gotta start locking in when they say that. Because if you've seen any African kid in America being sent back to their home country, they look like a totally different person. They be looking like they got sent to Guantanamo Bay, coming back with their head shaved and speaking in an accent. Like, bruh, what the actual freak did they do to you, my brother? But if I ever told my parents that I wanted to drop out of college to pursue YouTube, I wouldn't be sent back to Ghana. my household would turn into Guantanamo Bay. Feel free to hit the like button and subscribe, by the way, support small creators. Next up, we got gender roles. When it comes to gendered roles in African household, they're pretty much as traditional as they get. Girls are supposed to cook, clean, make babies, all that stuff. And the men are supposed to be invincible human beings that work to support their families and send even more money to their extended family members. Now look, I could see how that could have worked any time before the 1900s. But in this economy, this will not be happening. So oftentimes ladies have to work to support their families, along with taking care of the household by cooking food, doing laundry, and other housekeeping activities. So now I understand why my mom would come back from work and look at me like she wanted to incinerate me alive, while the whole time the pops is doing his own thing. But then again, I do understand the immense pressure our fathers go through. Most of the time, they're supposed to be putting hours and hours into work just to be able to pay the mortgage, car payments, insurance, light bills, gas bills, water bills, taxes, and also the monthly payment to their family back home, all while being the invulnerable man of the house. Like, pops, you're good. Take it easy. And most importantly, take care of yourself. Now look, for this last part, we got discipline. Now look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I can't go too deep into detail, because if I do, YouTube will do things to this channel, and YouTube will do things to my family. So let's just say I have to alter bits and pieces of information. Look, I don't know why, but African parents had the most creative punishment methods. Screw Chinese water torture, I'm talking Congolese pepper pinching and Nigerian booty banishment. Like, the stuff they was doing to us belongs in the list of top 5 most brutal medieval torture methods. My parents would tell me to go in a corner like this. And I'm like, Ma, is this a punishment, or are you training me to work out in the diamond gym? They would treat us like supervillains, whilst the whole time we just moved our clip down in class. Like, the moment you moved your clip down in class, you would hop on the bus and hit a green light at every traffic stop as the saxophone music got louder. You would get home and strategize your defense mechanisms for their attacks, whether it be their hand, belt, ruler, shoe, or any object in the closest vicinity to them. When I got home and I knew I had a whooping coming my way, I would double up my boxes, just so that the impact of their force would be cushioned by the cotton of the boxes. Look, growing up in an African American, Latino, Asian, basically any immigrant household is a struggle. There are so many dynamics of navigating the culture of the country that you immigrated to, as well as embracing your home country's culture as well. People ask me, bro, you've never watched The Godfather or Friday when you were growing up? And I'm just like, do you know how many Snake Girl movies I've watched? In all seriousness, the struggles of growing up as an immigrant child come from a long lineage of traditionalist mindsets, expectations, and unresolved familial trauma that were casted upon our parents today. These aspects result in the seemingly arrogant, demanding, and stern characteristics they display today. Our grandparents did it to them, and our great-grandparents did it to our grandparents. So it sort of creates an outline that because this is what our parents did to us, this is what we'll do to you, which at times passes down toxic habits from generation to generation. But I'm glad to say that our generation can be the first to break away from these habits, fostering healthier relationships within our families and getting rid of these toxic habits once and for all, whether it's overseas or in our home countries, so that we can finally stop sending money to our relatives all the time.